Hidden from the headlines is the man who helped broker Brittney Griner's release. Oh, look at that. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, President Biden's favorite fist-bumping buddy. The Saudis released a statement today congratulating themselves for the mediation. The White House, well, they're not commenting on their involvement. Watch.
Can you clarify, when the Saudis say that the Crown Prince MBS was involved in mediation efforts to secure Griner's release, is that true?
Look, I don't have anything else to share beyond of what I've said. I'll refer you again, let them speak for themselves, but I'm not going to comment beyond what I just laid out. The only countries that actually negotiated this deal was the United States and Russia.
All right. Meanwhile, Senator Bernie Sanders says he plans to introduce a War Powers Resolution next week to signal the U.S. does not support Saudi Arabia's war in Yemen. Will that cause a deeper rift between President Biden and the Crown Prince, or between President Biden and Bernie Sanders? Here with me now, the director of the Libertarian Institute and editorial director of antiwar.com, Scott Horton, is back. So what do you make of the deal, and what do you make of Saudi Arabia's involvement here? What does it say about U.S. foreign policy, and have we made a shift?
Well, I'm not so upset about the lopsided trade here. I'm glad that she's out, and I'm not really an expert on Victor Bout. I'm sure he's a bad guy, but I don't see this as the one-sided humiliation that your previous guest sees it as. What's most important to me here is that we're talking to the Russians at all, and if they have to go through, Crown Prince Bonesaw to get it done, then I guess that's fine. It goes to show that we can negotiate with them. We still cooperate with the Russians and the Ukrainians in launching rockets into space. Still to this day, we have 2 or 3 times since the war broke out. And so we should be doing everything we can to negotiate with the Russians on Ukraine especially, but on all kinds of outstanding issues that we have, and put an end to this Cold War, this unnecessary Cold War that we have with Russia. And as far as Saudi Arabia is concerned, I'll take the favor, and I think we should repay it. And the truth is, I think that the Crown Prince really wants to back out of the war in Yemen right now. And Joe Biden and Antony Blinken, if they can get their act together, they could help him to do that. And there are still some outstanding issues, but they're trying to wind that war down. And so we should be focusing on doing everything we can to encourage that process.
But we have been giving them weapons for years and years that have caused millions of civilian deaths. So what does Bernie Sanders, he's a sourpuss, and that's, I think, why the progressive kids love him so much. What does his War Powers Resolution do for what's going on in the conflict and fragile ceasefire in Yemen?
Yeah, this is hugely important, right? So this is the War Powers Act in 1973 that they passed over Nixon's veto. That says if the president launches a war without congressional authorization, that is illegally, that they can force him to end it after 60 days. Well, it's been almost 8 years since Barack Obama switched sides in the terror war to Saudi, UAE, and al-Qaeda's side in this thing. And the fact of the matter is that they just would not be able to wage the war without American support. Obama had to give them that green light because with it came maintenance support, resupply of their weapons, and all the contractors, civilians and military guys that they need for all the logistics and the intelligence for the war, as well as our Navy helping to enforce that blockade. So if the Congress makes it illegal, if they pass these War Powers Resolutions, they are active right now, 56 in the Senate, 87 in the House. They're going to vote on it next week, Sanders says, and he says he has the votes. Rand Paul said that he's going to vote for it. I think Mike Lee probably will too. Mike Lee, please vote for it. And they have 130 co-sponsors in the House, and these resolutions would make it illegal for Biden to continue to supply the bombs, the maintenance, the intelligence, the logistics, and the blockade support necessary for Saudi and UAE to continue this war. And then clearly the British and the French would follow suit if America packs it in. And the Saudis, again, they want to back out of this thing now. So what this really will do is force the president to do the right thing and help them back out of this stupid war they should not have launched 8 years ago.
No, you're absolutely right. And, if this is one of the few areas where there's bipartisan support to withhold instead of spend and oppress, then it has to be the rational option, and everyone should call their congressperson and their senator and force them to support this. Very last question. I know you are a foreign policy expert. Who do you think is going to win the World Cup?
Oh, I have no idea about that stuff. But I will say, I know it's a lot to ask people to care about Yemen, but we just need you for like the next 4 business days, right? For, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, into next week. The lame duck session's almost over. Everybody go to 833stopwar.com. We got bullet points on the war, talking points for your senators and your congressmen, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. And we have everything you need right there, 833stopwar.com, and then that number will connect you right to Congress.
There you go. Give them hell. And I think it's going to be either Brazil or France. Scott, thank you so much.
Thank you.